Hey, our buds. Lucat here. Today, I wanted to talk about bringing the humanity back into art and actively taking an effort to fight against uh, people who are choosing to um, value just output over creativity and real human creativity. This is like my stance right now, and I'm okay with maybe being left in the dust because it just feels right. But my stance is like anti AI when it comes to creative process. And yeah, I really, in the case of the type of art that I want to make, I saw the AI generation softwares as probably like most an antithetical thing that you could have to surrealist art is actually having these like AI computer models generate the surrealist art. Uh, the crappy thing is that in the beginning it tended to just do that, and still even now it's you a lot of the things that are produced by these image and video generation softwares are pretty surreal, if not just realistic whenever they are trying to be. So their failures result in sort of this surreal quality, which kind of takes away from what I think the beauty of surreal art is. And labeling them as even surreal art, I think, is giving them too much credit. Them being the companies that are, collecting the data to feed into these basically just data transfer um, softwares that you can type in prompts into, and then it just congeals data. Um, but the thing is, it doesn't really matter because these things are progressing and have progressed so much that people really won't be. I imagine people will be looking back at this time and thinking of, sort of kind of how like the internet was being introduced to the general public um, in the 90s, whenever it was maybe even in the late 80s. But I'd say like in the 90s is when people started to get more familiar with the internet, and then in the early 2000s you have it becoming more accessible, and then you have the social media boom of the 2010s and a little bit previous. But it, the I feel like this one, in terms of creativity, AI tools, that we're calling them AI tools, are just completely lame to me. And I'm going to be real. Um, I have not used AI tools for any sort of creative efforts since I first kind of adopted this stance a few years back. And they were the reason why I stopped drawing, is just seeing that so many people were just opting into this tool where they, obviously the repercussions of using this tool is not only like social sort of artistic death, but also a, actual environmental impact that is much, much greater than any, you know, regularly or even other ways to generate digital art. The amount of computing that it takes, the amount of data centers that these, tech companies are building in order to continue, on their path with these softwares has nothing to do with artists. It does nothing to do with everyday people either. It's for the benefit of a few. And in my art, I try to reflect that I truly am still in belief that it is important to express your humanity now while we are still considered human, um, and step away from just using whatever tool makes stuff or your process efficient. Moving away from a just generation process and more into a thinking and a feeling, an experiential way of doing things that really humans, to our knowledge, are the only species and only entities that can do on this planet. Like we're the only beings that we can communicate in this way with, and create art and think about it and have the experience of art be expressed within it. And that's just something I don't want to give up in my lifetime to robots. And I expect that other people wouldn't want to either. What I'm showing in this video is probably a time lapse of me painting. I just painted that earlier today. It was just a sort of on a whim. I knew I wanted to make this video. I just kind of wanted to rant for a little bit. So I made a painting with the express purpose of course, being in the video, but also just exploring the my skill that I have and my experience, and sort of taking that in. And I always am picking up new things from this experience, and it's never completely about the output, because I could generate images, I could generate, you know, so many images, even using no AI tools. I could go for high quantity generation. I could also go for, you know, what people want to see rather than my surreal sort of alien sensibility that I have. But I choose not to because it feels right, and it feels like the right path, the right thing to do. And that's the exact opposite of the using AI tools. And so this video is kind of just simply an ask to any artist, any people who are using AI tools to create art, to instead be a human, and find ways to use things that are like right there in front of you, your hands, your eyes, your thought process, and come up with some more interesting ways to make things. Because using these tools provided by these tech companies who couldn't care less about what you're really doing with them, or of the creative aspect on it. They just want to profit, they want to collect more data, they want to feed their own engine so that they are ahead of you know, the other competitors in the race to just basically, you know, replace human thinking with automated processes that they can control, and thus controlling us as well. So instead of using these tools, why not use what's in front of you? I've gotten even more in touch with using traditional tools, just pencil and paper, and I've also just found it very freeing now to paint digitally as well. There are different processes, but I like the feeling of being in control of all the decision making with a painting. Essentially, paintings to me and artwork to me is like just a puzzle that you create for yourself and you solve, and it's all in one motion. So, yeah, the way I experience art is like a puzzle that I'm creating and I'm solving. And it's no fun to do a puzzle game and have it just, the puzzle is just clicking a button that solves the puzzle, so you can see how it's, you know, it creates and solves the puzzle for you. What's the point of that? I don't see what the point of that is. And you know, if you really just want to see pretty images, there's already a bunch out there that are made by humans. So instead of generating new, at least go take the time to appreciate art that has already been made. And yeah, that's an actual, you know, I urge anybody who watches this video and, you know, is even not feeling their process right now. I think that your process is much more valuable than any sort of process using AI tools at the moment. They're just not up to par with human creation. And if they can be in some way, which would require, in my opinion, a much deeper level of depth in what these programs are actually doing, then it's a different conversation. But as of now, these are not your friend. The AI, the Chat GPT, the Google video, they're not your friend. And the tools themselves are just kind of hacky. So anybody who uses them, I'm probably not a fan of your art, but I imagine you wouldn't be a fan of me either, which is fine. That being said, this is just some of my opinions. Apart from that, I just want to say, free Palestine, free Gaza. There's a genocide still going on right now, and it's at the final stages of Israel taking over the rest of Gaza. And yeah, it's been pretty horrible to see. I've been sort of aware all throughout it. I have a link in the description to my friend who's in Gaza, who's been needing support throughout the entire genocide that he's been subject to. And yeah, it would be really awesome if you guys donated and shared that link to his GoFundMe. His name is Ahmed, and yeah, really cool guy. Just a kid, 16. But besides that, you know, this is my just update in a video, just talking about something I literally thought of today. I hope you guys appreciate it, and I hope you guys stick around to catch future videos, see future live streams, and just keep up with the art. Keep making it, keep enjoying it. Hope you guys have a good day. Peace and love, y'all. Bye bye.
Okay, guys, just some afterthoughts. So, I do think that there is probably some use for these technologies that we're all lumping together to call AI technologies. But, and this case has already been made probably by so many other people. You've probably heard it or even thought of it yourself that, it can't all be bad. But in this case, I'm just speaking for the sake of my, taste in art, my opinions about art. I just feel like go somewhere else, do it with something else. And if you still choose to use these generation tools where, it's prompt based generation or even, image to prompt or image to image, whatever, just, I want to just say you're probably bad, get good. Uh, and yeah, it's very funny for me to say things like that, but I kind of mean it. I think there is a bit of competitiveness I have with art, even though it's not really any. The competition is between you and you usually, but yeah, no, still get good to anybody using AI tools to create their art, and they see my stuff, they see my videos, or they see my art, and they think we're of the same coin, or like that I would mess with you. I won't. I don't mess with you. Think you're lame. Um, that goes and extends to music and like other creative, creative writing, things like that. I will say I have used some of those voice filters, um, and maybe I should just stop doing that. Using like the CapCut voice filters. We'll see. I don't use them in this video or any time recently, but thanks, y'all. Peace out.